Okay, guys, so let's check out what we are doing this week. So you can see we just have basically the one thing posted for this week, and it is the World War II Choice Project, where you guys are going to get an opportunity to explore a topic over World War II that you find interesting and kind of create something about that topic and what you learned about it. So you can see here, if you click on this website, it is going to bring you to a Google site in which you'll need to make sure you're signed on to your USD 262 account. But it is the World War II Choice Project. And so everything that you will need, templates, instructions, anything like that, is on this website. So you can see last week we did that hyperdoc and we learned about World War II, and now it's time for us to evaluate a specific topic of our choosing and kind of go in a little bit further depth of something that we are interested in. So the three options for the actual project is the one-word project, the digital blackout poetry, or a World War II album. So I'm going to go into details about those projects here in a second, but the topics that you can do this over are listed below. So you need to choose one topic that you want to research more thoroughly. You can see we have a bunch of different battles, we have some people, we have different military items, weapons, stuff like that, or a couple of other things as well too. So if there's a topic that's not on here that you are interested in researching, if you just contact your teacher and get confirmation that you are allowed to do that topic, that is more than okay to do. So you just need to make sure that it is approved by your teacher to do that specific topic. So you choose your topic, and then you're going to decide what project you want to do to display the information that you learned about your topic. So the first option is the one-word project. And for this project, you can guess it, you choose one word to describe the topic that you researched. One word that you think encompasses everything that you learned about that particular subject. And then you get to choose whether or not you want to do this digitally or on paper. But once you have decided that, you choose your words. You can see these are some examples. One's from the 1970s, and this is a digital example from the 1960s. But you choose the word that you want to do, and you put that in the middle of your paper. You make it look visually appealing, and then you put at least 5 images. And you can see the requirements over here: 5 images, visually appealing, 10 pieces of evidence. So you need to put your word. You need to put at least 5 images that connect to the topic or word that you chose. And then you need your pieces of evidence for why you chose that word. Not just random pieces of information about your topic, but pieces of information that connect to the word that you chose to describe the topic. That is important. So you can see Miss Jansen did an example just over about the 1970s in general, and these were her 10 pieces of evidence for it. She did it on paper, she took a picture, and then she would have turned this into the assignment. Mr. Ham did a digital version, and that is down here. He did disruption, and that's over the 1960s. And then you can see on his next slide, he did his 10 pieces of evidence that connect why the word disruption is used to describe the 1960s, or why he chose that word. Now remember, your guys, this is over a specific topic of World War II that you're going to research in further depth. So you will have to go research a little bit on your own, through Google, stuff like that. But then you find a word that describes your topic, you draw or do it digitally, need to have at least 5 images, and then you need to have at least 10 pieces of evidence that connect to it. If you want to do this digitally, we have a digital template version right here for you. You would just click this, and it sends you to a web page that says, would you like to make a copy of the digital one word? You would click yes, and then you would make that copy. So that's the first project option that you could do, and the specific instructions are here. The second option that you could do is the digital blackout poetry, which is pretty cool. If you don't know what blackout poetry is, it's where you take an article or something and you black out the words that you don't want, and you highlight the words in white that you do want, and those words stand out and kind of form a poem about your topic. So for this, you guys would need to get a article about your topic. So say you do something over Operation Barbarossa, or some battle or something like that, Battle of the Bulge. And maybe you go to History Channel and you find an article, you copy and paste that article into the template that we have provided here. And then you go through and you would go black out the words that you don't want to use your poem, and you need to find at least 12 words to use in your poem. And then you'll use 2 to 3 images in your poem, stuff like that. If this kind of seems confusing, but like you want to do this, it's a really cool option, I promise. But this little 2-3 minute video in detail describes how to actually make blackout poetry. And you can see some examples here, like they whited out all the words and they had the words that they wanted in black. This one did black with white. I did an example over the 1980s, and so this was just an article about the 80s in general, and I went through and I made the words I didn't want purple, and I made my background purple, and then I highlighted the words in white that I wanted a part of my poem, and then I found images to put in the background. And then on the next slide, I have a short explanation on why, what my poem means and my explanation and stuff like that. So that's an example of that, and the template for the blackout poetry is here. You guys will have to find an article that you want to use and copy and paste that article into Google Slides and then make your blackout poetry from there. So that's option number 2. And finally, the last option is a World War II album. So essentially for this, you guys are creating an album over your World War II topic. You'll need an album cover though, which needs titles, picture, or a title, pictures, color design, stuff like that. That's 10 points. You'll need at least 10 different songs. You can see that's another 10 points, the songs, and making sure you have at least 3 different genres. And then you need evidence and explanation over why you chose those songs. You can see that's the most important part. It's 30 points, so it's 3 points for each song in your explanation. So here you can see is an example by Miss Danson she created over the war in Vietnam. That's her album cover. You can see it has images on it, and her album is titled The War in Vietnam. And then you go to the next slide here, and there she has her songs in her explanation. So she has the song, the artist, the genre, and the explanation. The explanation is the most important. It's worth 3 points for each explanation, so you want to make sure you have that on there. So we have this template ready to go for you as well too. If you click this little button here, it'll have you force a copy of the album template. So whatever you guys do choose, you will end up turning into this assignment here, the World War II Choice Project. So you guys get to choose what topic you want to research further. You guys get to choose what method of project you're going to work on. And of course, as always, this is always due Friday by the end of the week, by the end of the day. And yeah, so remember your options for topics are down here on this second slide on the home page. So there's all your different topics you guys can choose from, and then the instructions for each project method are up top. So remember, if you guys have any questions, you can always go see your teachers during office hours and ask further questions. Hopefully that all made sense for everyone, and I hope you enjoy your week. We'll see ya.